what system is he going to step into that is going to get him the ball, but also be able to help with the right coverages. And that's where I think really Aaron Rodgers could be really special with him. And I also think Kansas City, because their offense is so spread. I do think you would be able to get Odell the ball fast in his hands, get him going early in games. Andy Reid is a master at that. He's a master at getting Travis Kelce involved in the game. He's a master at getting, all the different guys. Tyreek Hill involved in the game. Sammy Watkins, when he's there, involved in the game. And, he even has a plan to say, okay, this is how we're going to get this guy going early in the game because we know we're going to need him late in the game. That's also where I think it could be really special if Odell could fit in a system like that where they said, okay, early in the game, we know these 3 plays, we're going to get him the ball to get him going early. Because I do think Odell can still be so special in the right system, with the right mindset, and the right team around him that is propelling him, where he feels part of the team, and he feels that he's honestly a special part of that team.
Yeah, and we know the Saints made calls about him, and I know someone else who would love to have him. That would be Lamar Jackson. But I want to transition to the other team, and that's Cleveland. And, Tim, I'll come to you being a former quarterback. I know Baker Mayfield's a franchise quarterback, but do you think this is a guy, or maybe Stephen A. doesn't believe that, but is this a guy that could lead a team to a Super Bowl, Baker? Do you still believe that?
I think he could lead the Browns team to a Super Bowl, right? Because it's different. With the Browns, they have a great pass rush. They have a pretty good defense. They have a really good running game. Baker's pretty good off of play action. I think he's getting better. I think he's handled a lot of ups and downs, being the #1 pick, throwing a good amount of interceptions one year, coming back, making the playoffs, making an awesome run at it last year, playing his best in the playoffs, giving the Chiefs everything that they could handle last year. And honestly, probably should have had even more plays if some of his playmakers were even stepped up more in that game in the playoffs against the Chiefs. And so I think you look at it and you say, you know what? With maybe 1 or 2 pieces and their running backs healthy, I think they could make a run at it. And so I do think he's a franchise quarterback that in the Chiefs system with their running game could make a run at the Super Bowl.
Let me say this before I go any further about answering this question in regards to Baker Mayfield. I've never felt more positive about him than I do today. How he handled Odell Beckham Jr.'s father doing what he did on social media, he's got to be given credit for that. Baker Mayfield is known as a guy that's relatively candid, will speak his mind, no BS, whatever the case may be. He could have really, really went in. And he could have embarrassed some people. He could have spoke up in self-defense on his own behalf, and he did no such thing. And it reminded me in a flip side, because I'm a fan of John Bones Jones and the UFC. And I remember years ago when he had went after, Daniel Cormier and was so it just went at him in a very disrespectful way. And then when he got in some trouble, DC could have really ripped him and didn't do it. And that kind of stuff really, really resonates with me. And I think Baker Mayfield deserves a lot of credit for the class he showed. Having said all of that, do I think the Browns could win with him? Yes. Do I think he could lead the Browns? No. Their running game could do it. You understand? Their pass rush led by Myles Garrett could do it. If Jarvis Landry and them brothers find a way to get them, they can do it. You just look at too many elements with the Cleveland Browns, and the one question mark is Baker Mayfield. You don't really have a whole bunch of question marks surrounding the Cleveland Browns. It's usually, what can Odell do? I'm sorry, not Odell, what Baker Mayfield can do. Can he lead you to the Super Bowl? Can he be the #1 reason you're going to be there? No. But can he help you? Sure.
That's totally fair, Stephen. I get that point, and I agree with it. But how many guys can? That's what's even more important is you can't just go replace him with someone else that can. I mean, there's 7, 8 guys right now maybe you could look at in the NFL that you could say, hey, you know what? I really believe that guy could lead a team there. Lead a team, not just be the quarterback of a really good team and that team would lead that quarterback, but a quarterback that will lead. I mean, you got a couple young guys now. You could probably look at Justin Herbert, right? You could look at Lamar. All those guys are stepping up. Josh Allen, those guys are kind of coming into their own. But after that, where are you going to find the next guys? And I think that next guy is Baker, and I think he's, in the middle of it right now. And I think the way he's handled the last few weeks, I think it only gives his team more trust in him. And if he can find a way to win some of the big games, I think he'll get even more buy-in from his teammates.
Personality-wise, he did build some trust. because they watched the way he handled it.
Yeah.
And he could have been a lot worse, and he wasn't. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.